All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Daredevil Season 3, Episode 9.
So we left off last episode.
Found out his mom was.
The news, right? And all that
Yes.
stuff. And we pick up this episode dealing with the aftermath, aftershocks.
The
after
aftermath
effects.
finds out.
Aftermath.
So I can't remember. Does this one is this the episode or is the last episode where the nun is just crying for a shocking amount of time in a really weird
On the
over
bed?
top? Yeah.
Okay, listen. So we're
Is that this episode?
That's this episode.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
We are at a point that I think we get to in every Netflix Marvel like thing where I go like, there are things I did not like about this episode. Not like the show is ruined, right? Because it's still coasting on all that momentum of all the previous stuff, and good things, great things happen in this episode, I would say. But they start to worm things in where I'm just like, what? No, stop it. Like, it's like the whole thing with like the Elektra flashbacks all over again where I'm just like, do we really need to spend this much time on this?
I actually didn't hate the Elektra flashbacks, but
I didn't hate them.
Some of this, I'm like, okay. They really the father, the priest, whatever he is, in the flashbacks, they really did the aging really well on him, and I'm not sure if he's how old he is in real life, and if they've made him up in the to make him look older all the time.
He's probably halfway in between.
Yeah,
something about his eyes in the flashback, I was like, I don't know if this looks like it didn't look like he was secretly old. It just didn't look like right to me 100%.
But like it didn't look goofy. A lot of times these flashbacks where they use the same actor, I'm like, oh, that's just what is that cheese? Like that's a joke.
That's just the same boxer guy. Only, all right, we'll get there in a second. That priest is like a pool shark who's in the fucking club, and like hustling a dude.
That's what they do.
Who's like, "Are you hustling me?" And I'm like, "Okay, great." And they have a and like Matt comes in and like confronts him. It's a pretty decent conversation. She couldn't bring herself to walk 9 blocks to visit me as a kid. All this stuff. And then he goes, "Let me tell you, Matt, like, son, let me tell you how." And then we do a whole like flashback or whatever thing, right? Okay. Like he's boxing and the nuns come in and he's like, "Oh, you can be my Mr. Miyagi."
Yeah, that was.
And I'm like, "Did you not have a plan? How are you gonna get the mouth guard in?" And this is where you tell me, "No, Lee, this is how boxing works. You don't understand." And I go, "Oh, I just don't know." Yeah, right? No,
that's not a thing.
Right? So he's just like, "Oh, good, someone's here," and that's their like secret love affair where they go all off on this whole thing. And there's other nuns who are like, "But your vows, it's like so bad. This is awful. I'm so sorry. I love the show."
Yeah.
but this is bad. And he's just this fucking he's the same actor throughout everything. He's just this like 40-something-year-old man, and she looks like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
It looks so weird. Not like
the
wrong.
benefit is the last time we saw him in our current timeline, Matt was like 10 years old or something.
Yeah.
So like this.
It's fun. No. I'm not saying like it doesn't add up. I'm just saying that like
some things don't.
Their age difference is like so fucking like it just looks. Like, I don't want to say, like, I'm offended, but, like, it looked gross and, like, weird. I was like, this is not, like, oh, look at these young cats
she's,
getting
like,
down.
18 years old.
It was weird.
And what do you think he's supposed to be, 30?
I don't know what he's supposed to be or what his actor is, but,
No, he couldn't be 30 because he boxes when Matt's a little... Because he wouldn't have been boxing at 40.
Right.
I don't know.
He doesn't look what he's supposed to be in the story. They just used the same actor because it made more sense, and I get that. But it isn't like he's sitting in a chair talking. He's boxing. You see his like lumpy body moving around doing boxing moves, and it's the same guy. That's Ghost Dad talking to Matt later, which is fine. It's fine, but it just looks goofy when you have the super young nun and being like, "Oh, Mister, I've never seen a fight before," and all this.
Well,
weird
it's because
stuff.
the actual nun is far too old to use again, and even with young makeup.
It's crazy.
You know who I really liked as Matt's dad? I thought in the Daredevil with Ben Affleck, that guy.
Okay.
What was he from? Like In the Heat of the Night or whatever the fuck his thing was.
I forget who that.
He played like Bubba in something. And all right, Bubba? No, I'm wrong. But he was in something. Maybe the
Bubba Namrong.
Maybe
one of my favorite characters.
He was a cop for many years in some TV show, and he's been in a lot of action movies in general. But that guy. Way better than this guy. No offense to this guy.
I vaguely recall liking several things about Daredevil, including the
Ben Affleck Daredevil.
The dad stuff.
Just making sure
sure.
We're tracking.
Well, that movie gets shat on a lot, and there are bad things, but I think there's also some good things. We'll do a whole video essay on it in 10 years. This is Goofy, though. Matt's dad is not a super great actor guy. He's just the guy they got in season 1, I think, to be Matt's dad.
Things like that always make me kind of smile. Where like you bring somebody in and like it's like, oh, I need a tall guy with dreadlocks, and like they hire some guy because he fits that little part.
Yeah.
But then like 4 seasons later in the show, they're like, oh wait, we have to track back to that.
Yeah.
Can we get that same guy?
Right.
Okay, now you have like a big part. Are you an actor? Oh God, you were just a stand-in. All right.
Oh, no.
Well, let's see what happens.
Let's just roll with it. And he's like, Matt, we're cursed. You and me, we're the same, and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. Like, there's a lot of
We got the devil in us, Matty.
Yeah, no, but no, you could have done, and it's not even filmed well. That's later though. I don't hate, but like for the sake of like expressing myself, there's things I just hated about this like whole thing.
It's healthy to hate.
Is it healthy to hate?
Well, it depends what you're hating, but yes.
Right.
Self-hate, the most healthy of all.
Good. Well, that's what.
And as long as you're watching something that makes you hate yourself,
that's where
you're
hate.
Really good.
That's where hate starts.
Sure.
Is at home, and then you bring it out into the world.
Home is where the hate is.
Let's stitch that onto a thing. So they're boxing, they're love affairing. There's like 3 scenes. It cuts. Her eyes are all like haggard, and she's looking whatever. Baby's crying, and I was like, drugs, and then it cuts wide, and I'm like, oh, it's like postpartum depression or whatever. But
and I like that because they're like that mention of like there was no name for it then. This is blah blah. And I was like, okay, because you do hear about things like that, and even to this day, you know people that have these problems.
It's a whole thing.
So I was like, okay, that's cool, and she does have the added. Like, what would you call that? She has the added obstacle of she was just about to be a nun, and like, so I'm like, okay, I could see how you could perceive that as, no, this is God telling me to fuck off, child, and I've got to go, and just bouncing.
It was totally fine. I didn't love how they named it by name later or whatever. I would have liked a little caginess around it, but I understand
not mention
why.
that it was postpartum depression?
I think because I've heard the term postpartum depression, so I like didn't want to hear them say it out loud. I understand it's fine or whatever, but I would have liked, like, if you just took that one line out and she was just like, they didn't have a word for it back then, I just couldn't whatever, I thought God was the answer, I knew Matt would never forgive me, and just kind of like leave it at this thing or something. But I get it.
I was okay with it, and it would have been bad for me if she wouldn't have said like the whole they didn't have a name, blah blah blah. If she would have said I had postpartum depression, I would have been like, you're just spoon feeding me bullshit. Yeah. I thought so they danced around it like nice enough. I can see what you're saying. I do think that would have added to it.
No, but you're right.
But it didn't hurt me.
They gave us both, which is fine.
Yes.
Right? So yes, it's fine.
And sometimes that is the problem when you try to ride both lines.
Yeah. It definitely did not ruin it for me, but it just was like a slight lack of perfection. We come back to the present day. The story has been told. We've seen the flashback, all that stuff. Young priest, like we said.
Yes.
Then,
again, I liked young priest.
And Matt gives him the business. He goes, we talked all those times about truth and like whatever. Turns out that those were all a goddamn lie. Shame on you.
I would be super pissed if I'm.
It was great.
It makes sense.
He what was it called? Dressed him down, whatever. He dicked him, whatever you want to call it.
Tuned him up.
He tuned him down. He clocked him out. And then he just leaves, and you kind of expect like, Matthew, you understand? He just right, because he's like, yeah.
What do you even say?
You got me.
You got
right?
got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
It's good times keeping this whole secret. I then like that the priest can just walk up to the nun and say, he knows, and it's just, oh God, and she immediately, goes off to his thing or whatever. Right?
I thought it was strange that she didn't say like, why did you tell him or something like that, or how.
I know.
She just accepted it and then runs down to see him, sees the necklace, which I think he put there for a totally different reason a while ago, right? Like, hasn't that been sitting there for like 5 episodes? Yeah,
I think so.
But of course, she sees it immediately, and
we're supposed to believe I've left this here to abandon my whatever, and she's like, my mission has failed. I've lost my son again, and we're gonna cry. And this happens to me sometimes due to my mild autism or something like that. It happened in Mystic River, I think, or something like that. Sometimes actors do like an emotional thing, and I kind of go like, what? That's goofy. I don't like that. Is that my daughter in there? Like, Sean Penn just going crazy.
My mental picture when you first said this was you're watching Mystic River. Yeah. You're 98% done, and you go, is that Sean Penn?
Is that Sean Penn? No. What? What does that have to do with it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Mild autism. I have no idea.
Sean Penn freaks out about his dead daughter.
Well, which is understandable.
And the degree to which he freaks out made me kind of I'm not laughing necessarily. I'm just not taking it. I guess I prefer subtler performances or performances that are a little more tight and small, and I can look at your eyes and like feel your pain. But when people go and do like a bunch of stuff, I got kind of like I'm not as.
It definitely is on shaky ground with me, where sometimes I go oh man, I totally believe that is how it happened. Because we've all been around when someone freaks out, and people freak out in totally different ways.
Yes.
And sometimes you're like from a distance, you're like, is that person laughing or
right?
Oh, they're screaming. Oh, right? There's a fight happening. Like,
are they crying so hard that it looks like they're having a laughing fit?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's it. It is totally like realistic, but sometimes it doesn't like land for me or play for me or something like that. And this was like a severely borderline case. For me. I had a weird okay, no. I had a weird ride watching her grab the bed and make the whatever. I don't know. I've really turned the corner on this actress. For the first 6 episodes, I thought she was great. And then
now you don't like her?
When she turned the corner and started to realize stuff and change and grow, it ruined it for me. I liked her she seems inconsistent and weird in a way that I don't like.
But I would blame the director more than I would blame her, because you're all, as an actor, you're only doing what is
big time,
when someone stamps it and goes cool next, it's no longer on you.
If I said I don't like the actress, I should have said I don't like the character.
Yes,
this is not. I don't.
It was how long they hung on the grabbing of the sheets and the crying that I was like, you're not selling it any harder. You're actually just making me hate this scene.
It's making it worse. Yes, exactly. Right. And I don't know. I don't know what would have made it better or how we could have improved it. Or
a change of angle would have helped a lot. The one solid stay, maybe some motion. Maybe if it would have swept around her as she grabbed and she welled and you saw her face a little better, something could have really changed that scene. But when you hold one static shot on something that is already where I'm watching a show because I like superheroes. You know what I mean, though? You're it's a drama, understandably, and they do drama very well at times, but it's not what I'm here for. And I know that other people might be here for that, but I don't think more often than not people are like, yes, can we well up the drama? Can we get more?
No, I'm often guilty of saying I want there to be more drama and more stakes and get to know the characters. Good. That's what I mean, though, right? Is not, I completely agree. I laughed real hard out loud at your assessment because we've said the same thing multiple times for all these Marvel shows. When we're deep in the weeds about the thing with the stuff. And is he going to get the promotion or some weird thing? And then we're like, this is a show about superheroes. And what makes it good is that it's more than a show about superheroes.
Yes.
But it needs to always kind of be a show about superheroes.
No, and they do a really great job with things like you mentioned, the promotion and the bullshit and feeling a character and really knowing a thing. And yes, you do get pulled out of the moment. And while things are going good, I am pulled out of the moment in the best way possible, where I don't think about it because I'm just okay, I'm sucked in with this story or whatever. But when things aren't good, I am suddenly immediately whipped back into the realization that why aren't good things happening? Shouldn't a good thing happen?
Wait a minute,
and this show is still great. Daredevil is one of the best Netflix original shows. In my opinion, that there's been.
Huge, yeah.
But there's always room for improvement.
I know, and I think we're being very fair and all that stuff, right?
I try.
Because on some
shows...
But
I also nitpick things when they are that good because they themselves have risen the bar.
Because then you
and
whatever,
if you make me, expect a 10 and you give me an 8, I'm like, dude, the fuck?
No,
but if a show is bad and gives me an 8, I'm like, holy shit, man, you gave me an 8.
You gave me an 8. This is great for you.
Yeah.
Good job. Tell your parents. Bring this home and show them.
All grades are not equal.
94? That's ridiculous. So, we're not just I only like punchy or whatever, right? Kicky,
no, because that's not true either.
Because, no, in Iron Fist, I love all the stuff with the family. I forget their last name. The Meachums, whatever, right? I love all that.
You like that more than most.
I know. And, I'm shocked, right? But even in, Punisher, when, Punisher's in there talking to Micro's wife and all that stuff, and there's all these weird vibes, and he's watching on the thing. That's not superhero stuff, but that was all great. I loved all that stuff. like because it ties back to the same characters, where they're fitting in, their goals, what they want. It like comes into play later. It motivates or like does stuff or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Here we just saw a character being sad about a thing. I don't know if it's going to do anything.
Especially when you have other things of drama, with Nadim or with
we're busy.
Matt and the Kingpin, or even Dex's backstory. There's more interesting drama to be had that I would like to push room for. And if you're going to do the stuff with the priest, the nun, the backstory, this and that, do it a little better.
Yeah,
and you'll never get an opportunity because the show's done. I
really think it would have been more consistent for her to play it tighter and go back to like praying and go back to like, oh, I can't believe this, and not like out. But this. The other side of that is like, well, today is the day that she really just lost it. So like, yes,
no, and people do lose it, but she's been proven to be and I guess just from the
this is
surface,
the thing that
she's had her shit together for so long, and she's been the one always like pushing and striving and like, well, what are you gonna just wallow in your own bullshit? Just get out there and kick some shit, like
yeah,
right.
I liked her a lot more like that.
Yes.
And I think that you can turn her into something else or like change that without doing this whole like 180.
Yeah, you don't have to show Negan crying in a cell. You could make it good.
Crossover. Exactly. You can show someone's like facade break down without immediately cranking the dial all the way to the other side, because it's more obvious and shocking, and it makes people react differently.
Because when someone is like a level 10, I'm cool all the time, showing them at a 7, you're like, wow, they're shook.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring them down to a 0.
Or a negative 10.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So let's get past this.
We're done with that. We've moved on. Later, Karen shows up and like the nun fills in half of the details that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And she says some like, we're going to underground railroad.
I did kind of like that. I like the idea that the church has, and it's true.
We've been hiding people for 2,000 years, Karen. Yeah.
I wonder, though, but the church has already been compromised because Fisk does know.
So at the time, my concern was like, oh, we never see Karen again. Literally, because this is, okay, we took care of her, and now it's this. But luckily, by the end of the episode, it's like, Karen Page, target acquired? Okay. And like, oh, shit! And that's how the whole thing ends. Spoiler alert. But Nadim is the whole important thing that happens here.
Yes.
We cut then to there. A still bleeding, Agent Ray, Rahul Nadim is waiting outside.
And he got caught with, like, a nick. Like
it must have been.
It's not an actual shot because we saw it now a couple of times, so I got a better look at it. And like, not that I'm saying go out get winged, but like, he's a dude. Like, he should be able to patch this fucking wound.
Okay.
Has he not heard of duct tape?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know where he's going with this whole thing. It did strike me as kind of weird.
He can't go to the hospital. I understand that.
Yeah.
Because how do you explain your shot? But when you're winged like that, you might be able to say it's something else.
Yeah.
FBI, I need to blah blah. Can you fix me up quick? Whatever.
Don't they have resources in the FBI, and like especially once I
guess
the problem is doesn't
know
what's happening. Like,
he can't admit to being there until he admitted to being there.
I know.
And then at that point, he could have got medical attention, but then his shit's
didn't.
fucked again.
I know. It's weird. I don't know. I feel like that would have been.
Because then he still. So just to go through it, he personally meets at his boss's house. They have internal affairs, whatever the hell that guy is, and he tells the story.
I love this scene so much.
Wasn't exactly as predicted in my head.
You never see the daughter's face. You hear the boss say, "Make sure your dad signs those papers." Like, you're instantly getting all this information about the boss. The boss who's been like tight hair the whole time is now home, casual, but still a hard ass bitch, and the whole thing. And then you see all like the painting tarps, and I wrote down in all caps, "Painting always means death on this show. Oh no," or something like that. And then I was like, I predicted this. She's in on that. Fuck this bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
But the way that it all unfolds.
Exactly, it unfolds a little differently than I expected. I like that they ended up with catching him on tape, saying like, okay, we can prove you did this, but that only works for so long because the body, after a few days, is like, all right. But I guess Fisk has money and they can always just falsify records, could keep murdering or getting information on more people. So we won't nitpick on that.
It's intended for us to like feel like he's fucked, but the performances, her performance was so amazing. If you watch her face, go like rewatch this scene. You can watch her face, evaluate what he's saying, figure out a plan, decide what to do, all just with her face, right? I like face acting because everyone just says everything all the time, right? You can watch her face, her posture changes, and she says, "You're on immediate suspension," right? And she knows, and like. if he didn't take out his gun, she probably would have said, "I need your badge and your gun." But he like volunteers it, and you see her like relax, and then the whole thing comes together. It's so well done. I was sitting there like, "Oh my god, guys, this is great."
The thing I didn't notice, and maybe you did. Okay, what? She's wearing gloves during this scene. When did she put them on? Were they on the whole time?
I don't know.
Did she happen to like because like a lesser show would have made note of like the under the table shot as she like put the gloves on. Yeah. But that would have telegraphed that she's about to kill somebody. Right. So I liked that they didn't show that. But I also was like, I didn't rewind because I never do. I was like, was she wearing them the whole time? Like, when did she get that? When did they exactly go on?
I did not notice gloves at all, and I feel like maybe she was cleaning or whatever, or something like that.
That was my thought. I'm like,
were they like cleaning gloves or like latex?
They were latex little gloves, but I'm like, you could clean in those. Like, it's not like I'm like, if you worked for the FBI, you might take those from the fucking.
They probably have some of them from crime scenes and stuff where they use. Interesting. Yeah.
But it was just a thought, and you didn't pick up on that one either. No. So it wasn't just me.
I was too much freaking out about the whole situation. And then she turns on like a dime and starts like digging into Nadim, like, "Look what you made me do, you motherfucker!" Yeah, it was so good.
But
I
that one also made me think that that the tarps were actually up because they were doing work, and it was not a planned thing. Okay, because like, you made me do this in my kitchen, blah blah blah.
You brought this into my house. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
so good. I love it so much. Oh my god.
Not that it matters.
You don't have
either
to
way. I did like it. I loved what came a little bit later when she's like, you work for Fisk now, not me.
I get it, boss. I get it. I'm not your boss anymore. Wilson Fisk is. And the way she says it, she has to like force the words out. It like hurts her so much.
Well, when she reveals, I used to have 2 daughters, I was like, oh shit. And then they get into that boardroom where there's all the people that are in his pocket, and you're like, oh man, because it's not just a matter of like he's paying people off. He owns you. Yeah. He has like your loved ones. He's got you by the balls. You can't do anything.
Like they allude to at like the prison, like they've talked about here and there. Right? He's been slowly gaining all this stuff. Later, when you find out that all of Nadine's misfortune, the whole thing that's like steered in there,
almost ridiculous, but great.
Ridiculous in a way that I like on a thing, right? Because you can rewatch this whole season now. You can rewatch the boss, all those agents you saw in the boardroom. I bet are acting in a way where you can go like, okay, and all that stuff, and it all fits in. When she's like, this is really, unorthodox, but I'll give you a chance, right? She was just, stringing him along as like part of the whole plan.
Doing what she was told.
Oh, it's so good. It's amazing. She probably even says, "Are you sure?" at one point, hoping he'll say, you know what, and just do whatever or something. I'm super happy with this.
No, it's good stuff. I also love when their plan is, okay, you're going to call Daredevil, you're going to tell him this, that, the other thing, and it's not that he did say everything they told him to say, but I wonder, can Matt hear his heartbeat through the phone? Because Matt knew immediately, not to go there and to do his own fucking thing. Yeah. And I'm not 100% sure what his plan exactly was, because did he think Fisk wasn't going to be there?
I don't know.
Why did he? And I understand, okay, now he knows, okay, I now have proof you're actually doing this thing. There's a trap door that leads to a stairwell.
But he didn't expect, I don't know what he expected either. Because he had to expect Fisk was not there, unless he thought maybe.
But he did mention I'm going to kill him. So I'm like, okay, did you think you were going to catch him just with an anchor bracelet on there and just?
Well, his plan is either to wait for him there now that he's not there, especially, or he was thinking this is just a big trap and Fisk really can't leave because maybe he's everyone's not in on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I will not go to the place. I'll just go directly to Fisk while they're distracted.
Yeah, potentially thinking okay, all his men are going to be at this meeting to kill me. I'll go right to the head, not realizing how deep fucking his claws go.
Or honestly, just fake Daredevil maybe is waiting to kill me, halfway across town, and I can get to Fisk, and now's my only chance. Sure. And he's got the Muay Thai ropes, and he pulls the breakers, like a badass.
Now the Muay Thai ropes, I think when they first showed it, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that. Okay. But then the next scene, he's not wearing them, and he has the ropes with him, and I'm like, why wouldn't he just keep them on under his coat? How long does it take to fucking tie those? Long time?
Shouldn't he have to fight his way in?
Don't you need somebody else to tie those? I don't know if you can tie those on yourself.
I know. I don't. I'm like, okay. They look cool. I don't even know if that's the best way to do this whole thing, but they look cool. And that's
very cool.
I'm fine.
I also like they did the scene where he's in his head killing Fisk.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Did you like that?
The thing I liked about it was when they cut away from it, they did film it in the proper order and there wasn't any blood on his gloves.
Okay.
Because like that's the those little
Yes.
scenes like that. I'm like, yep, you wrote him up. You had him use it. Yep, he's still covered in blood. And Netflix has enough common sense not to do it. But it's nice.
Good.
It's nice to see no rookie mistakes were made.
Yeah. No, it was a little jarring. Like he's mentally the catharsis of it, but the Kingpin's just like sitting there and taking it, which I guess is fine. I really was hoping, since his dad turned into Fisk, that while he was killing or like punching him, it would turn back into his dad
or
or
the
something
priest.
like that. Or something, some weird thing. But the way that it just cuts, I think Fisk is like falling, dead or whatever, and then it just immediately cuts back to like a medium wide with just Matt sitting there looking like and all that stuff. And I was like, what was he punching? Was he just mentally punching? Was he punching the bag?
I took it as it was just
like,
all
what is
mental.
he doing? Yeah, I didn't.
And I'm not a fan of those things in general. But again, I just like the little bits that
I get off on the weird like crossover where like you're punching something in real life or something else is happening, right?
And you're like beating the shit out of a wall, your hands are bleeding, and
right. So you like look at the blood and you look at like Fisk's and it's like Fisk's blood, and then it like cuts to like the real world, the lighting changes,
your fingers are broken,
and like you've been smashing up your own, right? Something interesting like
that would have been nice.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get that.
Well, this is fine. This is not dumpster tier. This is just like I get it. And it's like him silencing Ghost Fisk in his mind, right? Ghost Dad turns into fake Fisk, and then he's like, you know what? Shut up. We're done with this. And he's like mentally like making that declaration. I've been letting you chew me out for several episodes, and now this is over, and I'm going to kill you in real life. I'm not going to let you get inside my head. Oh, right, that whole thing. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very interested to see if he actually does. Because I don't believe this season was planned knowing this is the end.
I know.
So I can't imagine he actually kills Fisk.
No, I hope not.
It would be nice, actually.
It would
because
be great.
It would be a cap. It would actually be like, okay, that is the button on this show.
Looking back, I didn't really think that Karen was going to die, but I considered it, and I think I would have liked it even or something like that. And it might still happen.
It could still happen.
Because it would really feel good if the show ended in a way where because if you think about how Iron Fist ends, and even Luke Cage, right? The characters reach a point where they're either physically or like mentally not doing that anymore in the same way, right? They're either in a different country or something's changed, and we're kind of fresh. We own a club.
A chapter change.
Yeah, the chapter with the big first letter in like the thing where it's like a new thing. So if something like that could happen here just accidentally, that would be awesome.
I think it would be interesting if
you could feel good about it,
If Dex actually killed Karen, and like it's this moment where him and Foggy reconnect, and Foggy ends up winning, and then it ends with him being assassinated.
Oh, what? Foggy gets assassinated
as like
DA?
He's being sworn in or whatever, and like it's like
oh, and they think they won, and then someone's like, "This is for Fisk," and like
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I would love that. I would love that very much so, right? Because if they actually think that they like won and like actually like did the whole thing,
well,
but it turns out
that
Fisk,
would be a new
Fisk
chapter.
even considered all of that, and like he's back in prison, but he has more power than ever. His thing grows and all that stuff. Yeah.
So what else actually happens in this episode?
Well, just to backfill slightly, like Dex actually shows up. Ding dong.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And he shows up at his house, and he's like, and I'm liking. I already liked Nadeem, but I like him more and more now. He gets a chance to do a lot of this like subtle, like oh fuck, like but I have to. Oh honey, no, it's fine. Well, whatever, and all that stuff.
Don't talk too long. Your eggs will get cold.
And he's such a he has like a shit-eating grin on his face the whole time. He's so happy.
He's really
like,
good at that.
Oh yes, and all that stuff, and like the ability to be like, hey, well, Fisk wants you alive, but I'm gonna do this eventually. Hey, does that taste as good as it smells? This is awesome, and just flips the whole thing.
The best was Dex when he's brought back into the FBI shortly after this, and he goes like, I just want to thank you all so much, especially you, Nadeem. I'm gonna pay you back for all you've done for me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is that what he says?
Something to that effect.
Someday I'll pay you back for everything you did, and I wrote ominous in all capital letters.
No, Nadeem's face, like he loses the color in it, like
so
it was really good acting. Yeah,
and they actually saw like a slight confusion point where the boss lady says, or like one of them says, it was a great thing you guys did hiring that lawyer or something like that.
Yes.
So then I was like, oh, that was a real lawyer. I guess she seemed like a real lawyer, and that would have been obvious. But then
I did think it was just Nadim, but apparently it was everybody.
But then Dex even said, like, that stunt you pulled with the lawyer, I thought you had my back. And then later I'm like, well, it was a real lawyer. He just also was like, okay, I don't, that's fine.
Combo.
Yeah. So that like threw me to think that like, well, now Dex knows that it was not a real lawyer, and then like 2 scenes later they're like, it was a real lawyer, and he's back.
Oh
and
yeah,
like,
I always thought it was a real lawyer.
Yeah,
and I do find a lot of that interesting.
Well, because he doesn't even need the lawyer; he has the power of Fisk to like get him out of the whole situation, right?
I don't know if Fisk was even trying for that, though.
Yeah.
Because why?
Well, at this
Fisk
point,
has
right?
enough FBI agents. Doesn't need one more. He needs Dex full-time as Daredevil, in my opinion, would be how I would swing this. Because it's like, what do I need you there for? You want that for money? Fine, I got money. Structure, I got structure for you. Fucking come over here.
Yeah. Fall into my arms and cry. A primal scream. Yeah. So yeah, he's back on duty though. There's a whole montage of them just going out and like trucking through all these crime bosses or whatever, and we arrest the lady from Luke Cage.
Yeah,
the like Italian lady or whatever it is. Where I'm like, it's her. It's from a different show. It's a crossover thing.
Yeah. For the last time.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm so sorry. Still, it's good that they're doing this.
No, it's one. Like finally, we're getting some good crossover goodness and.
Well, it feels like the world when you go round everybody up.
Yeah.
She's on the list.
No,
right?
it's a world.
It feels like a world.
I really like that little ultimatum and like no, this is a scam. This is blah blah. I ain't signing shit. I ain't signing. Poof. And the way the table is tilted just enough so that all the blood flows like into the table. That's I'm hoping that was planned. I'm hoping it wasn't an accident because it's really great. It's perfect set dressing. Like the scene really worked nicely.
Planned in universe by Fisk and everything.
No. The art director.
Yeah. No, of course. No, it's amazing. So like, I love this scene, but I also have a small nitpick or whatever.
What do you got?
Because and I think he's also Italian. I don't know. Weird crime bosses, but he is like sitting very like rigidly. And the way he's talking is like head's not moving a lot, and we don't really know that character very much to know if that's just normal for him. He's an old guy. It was fine, but in my head I was like, "There's an effects shot coming up" or something like that, and then we had one, so it was didn't
jar me.
It was a little telegraphed or whatever, but that's just me.
I don't even know what part of the effect shot would stifle his movement like that.
Something about something.
Because it would be on his chest. It probably wouldn't have been on his back because it's a fall forward, blood come from below type of thing.
It like hits him in the head or whatever. So
no, I know, but how
the thing or something
where where the blood is flowing from. I mean,
I didn't think anything through. I just can smell certain things coming. It's like in a cartoon when like one brick's a different color. You don't know if the brick's going up or down or change. I don't know. But
is everything but the brick gonna move?
Yeah, but I'm like, something's up here. And so I wasn't as shocked when it happened. But
no, I knew he was going to die just because of how the framing of life is going to happen. Like it was a telegraphed shot, but I was not cued by his performance. I was cued by just the fact that I'm like, well, they got to make an example out of this idiot.
But it was great. He's like, we all know what this is. You just want us to say something so you can get another month in that penthouse that you've tricked them into. Is this great little rant or whatever?
Now it's 25%.
And like in my head, I'm like, there were 5 of them, now there's 4 of them. Okay, got it. Good. Because he wants X amount of the city's take or something. And I love the one character that that we could be forgiven for like remembering being the one doing a lot of the talking and saying, okay, where do I drop the cash?
Just one question.
Yeah, like it's
over.
Where do I
put the money?
Right? She's like totally on board and all that stuff.
Well, because if you're not an idiot, you go, death or losing 25% of my money.
Right.
I don't
know.
You're
just like,
if I die, I lose all of it.
Yeah.
But if I live, I only lose 25.
And he's like 20%, and they go, like what? And she's like, okay, like sounds great.
Yeah.
You essentially have a gun to my head. This is fine. Yeah.
I need more people to be rational like this. Like die right now? No. Even if you don't want to pay him, say yes.
I know, right? That always gets me, where it's like, what are you gaining by sitting there like yelling at the person or whatever, right? Your death. You're gaining your death.
Yeah, at least you'd have one day to prepare a defense where you could be like, okay, all my men with guns, stand right there.
Just form a circle
around me. He has a guy
me.
throwing pencils. I'm gonna die anyway, but whatever.
If he has a really good pencil guy, I'm dead. But fingers crossed. Maybe he'll go to some other crime boss first, and I'll be good.
Yeah, and then I'll say, oh, what'd you want? 45%? Yeah, I'm in.
It's always a percentage too, where I'm like, what's your overhead? Aren't you doing crimes? How much? Like, what are your expenses? Can't you, spend 20%? You don't want to, but like, death, right? Come on.
Okay.
It's all found money. No, the scene was good. I liked Fisk gasping and his body language. He's like touching his fingers. He seems like out of all of his mannerisms and like what he projects out and all that stuff. He kind of gasps when the guy dies because like the blood's like pooling and like going out and all that
I'm
stuff.
wearing a white suit, you fool.
Yeah, he has a kind of like a and then you see like Dex in the background, his like stance, and he's so into this fucking. He's like he's like an actor on stage, like in costume, literally. He just you can feel that he's like
the positioning of the FBI and how the lights were in this scene, I thought was really great because they weren't like symmetrically laid out. They were just like around the room, but very imposing. And it's like I have the FBI in my pocket. Right. You've got nothing. Like you want me to send
stuff.
the IRS after you? Because shit, I could do it.
I could do it. Yeah. It's crazy. It's super effective. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Just to move forward before we move backwards, they get pissed off. There's an awesome shot of Fisk's lip like quivering, and then you get that thing where I think we like alluded to, where like Dex is like, if you tipped him, and Nadine's like, I said everything you want. You asked me to say. You were there, or something like that. Yeah. But then, like after kind of acting half tough, once he moves off camera, like fuck, like this is awful, right? The whole thing. There's so many. You can make like a compilation of like Nadine's face of just this like this is awful, right? When they like roll up on the guy and you see Dex take the lead and go like, I'm fucking this guy up. It's awesome, and he's smiling, and then like Nadine's face, like this is like how do I get out of this? This is awful. Should I shoot him right now? Like what do I do? Like, oh my god, right? Oh, so good. Sorry, I enjoy. So like half the episode I'm like shitting on. Half the episode I was really interested in.
Were you interested when it turned out like, oh, they're in different locations? Like, was that a moment that you were like, oh, awesome, or were you like, what the fuck?
Oh, I was slightly confused, and then like or whatever, right? So like I don't know, like something with the stairwell made me think because it wasn't made clear enough to me where they had gone to.
Like it could have been in the hotel?
Yeah, part of me was like, wait, why'd they get in the car if he's at the hotel? And then I'm like, oh, okay, so they aren't at the hotel. That does make sense. But then why? Because like the stairwell shot was totally in the hotel, I thought. And I was like, they're in the hotel. And then like the hotel bar has similar weird like gold and black and like normal. So I'm like, oh, like, I don't know if it was intentionally misleading to like mess with me, but I'm offended.
I would say it was probably intentional. Yeah. Because you want to, as long as possible, make people think an epic showdown is about to happen.
Yeah, you want that reveal. Yeah. You want that doors
open.
But
I thought the reveal, wasn't as nice. No. Like it didn't feel like it paid off for how much effort went into it.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been a little more interesting.
Yeah, because like I feel like the doors opening is the reveal, but then you should have because by then it's clear that he's at the hotel.
Yeah.
And it's clear that like half the audience is like, am I fucked up? I thought they got in the car, and he like took his ankle bracelet. By the way, making Nadine take off the ankle bracelet and his head like going down, I wrote suggestive next to it. I'm like, this is great. Like the power play move and Fisk's face, like I'm disgusted by his motherfucker. Like it's awesome. It's just awesome. But yeah, like there's no moment of like reveal. You would want a thing where it's like pumped up and about to go in and it's dark and you're like, wait, what? And like the audience is like with you for the whole journey, but I feel like half the audience is kind of confused.
I think just
half
by
the
not
audience
showing
knows.
the car might have been better.
Yeah.
Or if they would have filmed it slightly out of order and like after the reveal, then you show Nadim taking off the ankle bracelet, then show the car or something. Or if you're gonna do it that way, something.
You could have just shown him taking off the ankle bracelet and then just skip the car, I think even, and that would have made it like ambiguous enough that you would have been like, okay, what's happening? Because you see his like lackey, I don't know what to call her to be funny or whatever. The computer lady has an ankle bracelet on. I assume it's his ankle bracelet, and that's the whole point, right?
I don't know.
Did she have it on before? Actually, I should remember.
Is she his prisoner?
She has her own ankle bracelet.
Has to stay there because I don't know. Do you have to? The ankle bracelets need to be on a body like for X amount of whatever in order to prove.
There might be some technology there.
I don't know.
In my head, just like because of how TV works and how stories work, I assume they put the ankle bracelet onto her because she's stuck there as his like prisoner anyway.
Okay. Because she's prisoner and in proxy of him, so like there's still a heartpeat associated.
Yeah, so that anyone not in Fisk's pocket on the FBI still sees the like blinking dot no matter what happens or whatever.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so like Daredevil goes in, he's like, she's like, "Are you gonna kill me?" There's a whole like thing going on, and she's down. She's like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, I'm killing Fisk. Sweet.
Yeah. She's like so. She's like so relieved. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is she in a wheelchair?
There was, if you think back to Spider-Man the Animated, he had a like scientist's son, I think it was, who was wheelchair bound as his assistant for like a while. Right. And I can't remember that guy's name, but that guy would like help invent things, do things, but it was also on the inside trying to sabotage him.
Okay.
And I think that's this character.
I don't want to, like an unwilling Alfred or something like that, or some sort of weird interaction with that.
Well, I think in the cartoon, if I remember correctly, I think he was even paralyzed by Fisk.
Yeah, and then he like keeps him around.
Yeah.
Like in Dread with that dude.
Yeah,
no. That's where everything.
Any other tidbits, or is that this?
Just that. So we've basically hit everything, which is awesome because we did it totally off the cuff. But I like that the stupid thing with Foggy's video has gone viral, and they're always like, "This has gone."
Even includes the end where he's like, "Oh shit," and then walks away, and I'm like, "That's where you would cut if you wanted a real good video."
It's just and like, "Oh, you could actually win now," and I'm like, "I know." I actually wrote in my notes, "Foggy could actually win, shocking no one," or whatever, right? And it's fun. This is like this is like
episode or last episode where they're like, "But you can't because if you go forward with this, you gotta take that video back, or else they're gonna put mom and dad in jail and me."
That's what I'm getting to next or whatever. But the whole part about the video going viral, they list how many views it got, which is always too low and sucks and is weird. They like
what did they show the video's views?
She said 100,000 in the last 24 hours, and I'm like, "Oh, so viral," or something like that.
Yeah, for a political thing.
Yes, but it's still like they should just avoid the number. It's like how many.
Every policeman is reposting it.
How many euros was this or whatever? Like just future-proof it slightly because eventually that's going to be. The point is, yes, we've been saying forever. Watch, he'll actually win, and that'll be a whole thing or whatever. And then this speech where we said, well, he shat the bed at the end, so that's not whatever. And so that's not going to happen from this, but it does happen from this. And then she says, well, you shat the bed at the end. Like it's this whole dumb thing. I don't know. It's whatever. It's fine. But yes, his cousin, sister, brother, mother, cousin. His brother is like, you gotta take that back. Oh, we all signed the loan agreement. Everyone signed it together, and that's how the law works. We're all going to jail now.
The numbers. Oh, it's not like you're a lawyer, Fogg. You can't help us in this, can you?
It's so. I don't know how much. Let me see if I wrote down
how much white collar like life in jail time are you gonna do for fudging numbers on a loan?
I don't even know how
maybe?
That works.
Couldn't Foggy just pay off the loan right now and there wouldn't even be an issue?
Right? Does it even matter? I don't even. So like.
No, you lied about that thing you paid off already. Fuck you.
Yeah, like I'm torn between like I know what they want me to think about this. Like, oh, his family's pressured because Fisk. It's this. Okay, it's like anytime anything comes up, it turns out Fisk has already fucked them like in the past. Yeah. It's like Fisk has like the toll booth or the phone booth from Bill and Ted, and he's like, going back in time.
How would he know to fuck Foggy over?
It makes no sense. It makes some sense, but not enough sense that I'm like, wait, how long have you been pumping these angles? Because Foggy might run for DA, and I might need his family to be pressured. Like it's a little. I
could see if I'm like these lawyers fucked with me in season 1 or whatever. I have to fuck with them in season 3.
It's fine. No, and like you get those heebie-jeebies, like oh he's already fucked him or whatever, and his brother's so bad at it, right? Which is also helping, and it's a very Foggy family way to do it, right? Because his dad's like, you gotta see the movie Foggy's in or whatever. I'm like, that's an old person thing. Look at the internet. So like they are rubes, right? And that's fine. Because he's supposed to kind of like work behind the scenes and push him and hurt him into not doing this or not doing that. Yeah. Where he's like, Foggy, you gotta stop. He's just like bang and throws it out there, and then Foggy's like, what? And then he tells him exactly what's going on.
Take it back.
So that's good. You gotta say you were drunk or something when you get all these details. Like what? And that doesn't seem like a Fisk move either. Like denounce your statements, and it's like denounce what? That doesn't I don't know.
Yeah.
Did not love it. We'll go off on a
low note. Perfect.
On a soft note. No, I'm super excited. Karen, right? Daredevil side, side of his face. What? Karen is like the target. I don't know if they're on their way there now. On the way back from the crime boss meeting, swing by this church and throw pencils at them. Right? Is that the plan?
That would be my guess. Is that Dex is already en route.
So they're both gonna go to the church.
Yep.
And have
Daredevil will catch something right before it hits her, and then an epic fight will start in the church where his mother will die.
Okay, I was just gonna say, unfortunately, that will now this is literally a shot-for-shot remake. There's gonna be broken glass, and Dex is gonna be throwing the glass. It's gonna be actually the Ben Affleck, Daredevil, and then Dex is gonna hit the bells or whatever the fuck, and it's gonna make Daredevil blind or whatever. It's gonna be shot for shot, exactly the same thing, which I can't wait for. I'm totally down for it.
All right, that sounds like a great prediction.
Solid 10 out of 10.
All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this episode of Daredevil. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we will see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.